Hello everybody, here's another video for you. It's another super hot day, and I just put out the air conditioner today, so I'm pretty sore, but I also have it turned off for you lovely people so that you can hear me actually make this review and enjoy what I have to say, hopefully, if you do. And there goes one of the cats making a bunch of noise. Anyway, just like usual. But today, I am going to finally do that compare and contrast between the two Highland Park whiskeys that I have. The first is the Highland Park 12-year-old Viking Honor Scotch. And every bottle is really heavily Norse themed. They've got a lot of like really nice workmanship on there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's fantastic. It's great stuff. I don't know if I've had this before, honestly. I know I've had the other one I'm going to show you, but I don't think I've actually had this one, which is one of their core signature whiskeys here, the Highland Park 12. That is going to be compared today to the Highland Park Magnus, which I have had, and I really like. It's very unique. It is extremely unique. I've never tasted anything just quite like it, and it was the first thing by Highland Park that I've ever had. It's named after the founder of Highland Park, Magnus Jonsson. Magnus Jonsson, that's a Nordic name. So that one was really good. I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people who are into scotches, who are into Highland Park, don't really like it. And I can see why. It has a very unique, very different taste, and it is definitely something that you kind of have to get used to. But I really enjoy it. And I haven't had it in a while. Like, I've had this bottle for quite a long time, meaning to stack it up with the regular Highland Park. And I just haven't dug into it yet, so I'm hoping it's as good as I remember it being. We're going to take a little bit of the Highland Park 12. Nice, good scotchy smell. Not peaty, not very smoky. I'm going to go ahead and pour that out into our Glencairn glasses. Pop that cork back on. And now we're going to go ahead and crack open the Magnus. Now you might hear, in addition to my cats, you might hear my daughter. She's wide awake since this is a lot earlier than the last video I did. And she just went to bed, which means she's not actually going to be sleeping for another like 2 hours. Because that's kids for you. She's 7, so, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah, the Magnus definitely smells totally different. Like, there's no comparison between the two. The Magnus is a very unique taste from what I remember. Ooh, and that smells a little peaty. That smells like it's got some peat. So we're going to take a look at that as well. Make sure those glasses are even. Pretty close. And there's a definite color difference that I can see. I'm going to add my dabs of water. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Not enough really to dilute anything, just enough to help open up some of those notes, cause a chemical reaction, that kind of thing. So let's take a look at these. I don't know how well you guys can see the color differences, but I think you can definitely see that there's some differences in the color. This one, the Highland Park 12, is definitely more orangey, more auburn, whereas the Magnus is more golden, more honey colored. definite difference in smells also. The 12-year-old, it has kind of a fruity kind of berry smell to it, almost like a berries and cream. The Magnus, more of a licorice, more of an anise kind of smell to it. Definitely a big difference. So let's try the Highland Park 12. Deep breath. Get that all out. Has a bit of a burn, a lot of fume right off the bat. Yeah, that has a burn that goes right in there, goes right on down, sinks right on down. It has a very, it starts out kind of like a crisp apple, and then it devolves into like a baked apple, a heavy like an apple crumble or an apple crisp. Apple crisp is something that we have here in Ohio and in Pennsylvania, where I went to school. It's a Dutch thing, and Pennsylvania Dutch, and apple crisp is what that reminds me of. Some cinnamon, apple, kind of like an apple pie, but slightly different selection of not really seasonings. You don't really season the pie, do you? It's a cinnamon. Anyway, slightly different selection of tastes, and you get. I'm getting the crisp, the chewy, crunchy kind of crust that you get with an apple crisp, and like the flaky top layer. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from the Highland Park 12. Apple crisp. Yep, and it has a definite burn. It heats you right up. This would be good for a fall day. This would be really good for a fall day where it's just starting to get cold. Get a little bit of warmth. I wouldn't say this is a winter whiskey, but definitely a good fall whiskey. Early fall, before it starts getting into like the late fall where you got like the pumpkin, all the pumpkin flavors and all that other kind of stuff. This is early fall when the leaves are just starting to turn. Good stuff. I like that. I'm glad I opened that. I waited a long time to get into it, and I feel good about it. This time, I remembered to get some water. Cleanse that palate up between tastings. Because my last video, if you remember, was the Jack Daniel's Bonded and the Jack Daniel's Triple Mash. And they're both pretty good, actually. I've grown to enjoy them, but they're not some of my favorites. They're not bad, but they're definitely a Jack Daniel's, and Jack Daniel's for me is I'm not going to say anything bad about them. I'm not going to trash them. It's not in my top tier, really. Gentleman Jack is really, really good. Gentleman Jack is excellent. But the two new ones, they're okay. They do the job, but not the same range of flavor as this. And I didn't have water in between to kind of cleanse the palate, so the flavors kind of ran together a little bit. But they're really not that different, to be honest. I've been tasting them later on, going through those bottles, and they're really not that different. Get that palate all cleansed out. Ready for a new flavor. Okay. Now on to the Magnus. The Magnus, I remember it being really crisp in a different way. Like almost like it reminded me of like spring water, but sweet, like a very sweet spring water. I know that sounds strange, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. Which is kind of the essence of a good whiskey. Irish whiskey, the name that they gave whiskey, it comes from a translation that says the waters of life. So, and water is a big part of your whiskey making, of course, along with the grains and everything. So, Highland Park Magnus. It has a warmer mouthfeel rather than hitting you with a blossom of warmth like the 12 does. It's a very subtle, it starts off very, like, much warmer. As an intrinsic part to the whiskey, it just seems like it's warmer in general, regardless of what the actual temperature is of either one of them. And it has that apple taste, but not like the Highland Park 12. This isn't like like a pastry, like an apple crisp. It doesn't have like the cinnamon and things like that. This is more like fresh apples, freshly chopped apples. Nice and warm. And it doesn't sink on down like the Highland Park 12 does. It doesn't just go boom, warm all over. It's a very subtle warmth and a very particular taste. I don't know if this is how I remember it, but I like it. I really like it. This is really good stuff. This I think I could drink almost year round, depending on the setting. I'd want to drink it more in slightly chillier weather, but I wouldn't restrict it to just fall. It's that apple taste is really super pleasant. I really enjoy that. Let's take another one. It's almost syrupy. It's got a thicker viscosity. Like I talked about the Jack Daniels in the last video, the two new ones were very viscous, kind of very oily mouthfeel. This kind of has that, but not to the same level. This is more like a nice syrupy coating on the inside of your mouth. This is a good barbecue whiskey, I think. If you're gonna have like barbecued ribs or something like that, not necessarily something smoked. There's a little bit of smokiness to this, but not much. It's super subtle, and it's very pleasant. It does not have the alcohol, ethanol kind of taste to it that some other whiskeys have. Not like the Jack Daniels at all. The Highland Park 12 had a little bit more of that. You could tell more that it was a stronger whiskey, and this doesn't have that. Let's take a look at the alcohol content. Actually, while I'm getting to that, the Highland Park 12 is 43%, so it's 86 proof. Somebody's driving by. Hopefully, they didn't get my video banned with their music. And the Magnus is 80 proof, so it's 40% alcohol. So that could have something to do with it. The Magnus does not have quite as much alcohol per volume, so it's a little smoother on the palate compared to the Highland Park 12, but it's not by much. From 80 to 86 proof isn't a huge amount. I mean, some people that might make a bigger difference than others, but for me, it's not a big deal. So, but the flavor-wise, they're both very good. They're both really good. The Highland Park 12, again, reminds me of apple crisp when I was growing up as a kid in Pennsylvania, and the Magnus, just nice syrupy, chopped apple, like fresh. I don't know how to describe it. It's great. It's great stuff. It's just nice and warm. Great stuff. Both of these are excellent. I believe the Magnus is the more expensive of the two. I don't remember for sure. I think these are both in the neighborhood of the $50 to $60 range, though. They're not mid to low shelf whiskeys. They're usually when I go to the grocery store, they're usually in the upper shelves. They make other expressions that I've not had that are upwards into like hundreds of dollars. that are aged a lot longer, and I'm sure they're interesting, but I don't think they're going to be in my price range ever. But it's good stuff. I like what's coming out of Highland Park. I really like it. I think I'm going to try to find some of their other expressions if I can get some deals on them, and go from there. But my favorite of the two is probably the Magnus. I really like the Magnus, and this is my second bottle that I've had of the Magnus, and I've had to order it special both times. I can't get that here in my area of Ohio. I've had to special order it, whereas the Highland Park 12 I can get readily on the shelf. It shows up pretty often. So I might stock up on the 12 and then order another bottle of the Magnus, because the Magnus is absolutely delicious. I really like it. I know there's people out there in the whiskey drinking community that don't. They have really strong opinions about it. They think it's a failure. They think it's like the most disgusting thing that Highland Park has ever put out. I don't agree with that. I don't at all. I think it's delicious. I really, really like it. So there you have it. Out of the two, my favorite is the Magnus, but they're both very good. I don't feel bad about getting either bottle, and I would not feel bad about getting either bottle as a gift, or if I saw one on the shelf and not the other, I wouldn't feel bad about saying, I'll get this one because they don't have the other one. You know, they're both very, very good. Okay, so that's what I've got. That's another cat. They're in here. Once again, I do these videos as if they are live. I don't edit things. I don't mess with things. I don't bother with that, because I want you to get the most authentic experience possible for me. No slick effects, none of that kind of stuff. Who knows? Maybe I'll add the title card in the future. I don't know. I had big plans for it with a theme song and everything and all that stuff. Kind of just went. Anyway, this is what you get. So, once again, the Highland Park 12 and the Highland Park Magnus. Excellent stuff. Can't go wrong with either one. Delicious. Okay? Not sure what I have on the horizon next time, but I will definitely keep you guys informed, and I'll keep trying to upload these videos as often as I can to YouTube. I don't know what I was trying to say there. I was trying to say YouTube, and I went YouTube, like I don't know, French or something. I don't speak French. I don't know. But this is going on to YouTube. I will probably try to share it to Facebook from there. I don't do much in the Facebook area these days, so don't expect a whole lot of support from there. But it would be great if you guys would like and subscribe on YouTube. The Uncanny Spirits Club. That's what this is, Uncanny Spirits Club. And send me suggestions. I'd love to taste some things that you guys might think are awesome or disgusting. I mean, I guess I'm not huge into gross out challenges. In a recent video, me and the other half of this Uncanny Earth, me and Rob, we tasted Mountain Dew's Flamin' Hot flavor. Ugh, it wasn't good on its own. And then we had the bright idea of mixing it with a bunch of other alcohols that we had, like with beer and with bourbon, and just don't. It's bad. It's bad. I'm usually pretty supportive of a lot of Mountain Dew flavors, but Flamin' Hot is bad. It's bad. Anyway, like I said, I don't know what I've got coming up, but I will definitely let you know. Like, subscribe, YouTube, Uncanny Spirits Club, if you want to see more of me drinking this. Cheers.